Welcome to another episode of GeekOutdoors.com. So Ragnarok Season 2 is the follow-up to the original season where we actually bring Norse mythology into the modern world, told from the perspective of actual Norwegians. So this show, it comes out of Norway, and I myself did enjoy the first season. So if you have not seen it, I did do a review on it. I'll leave that in the description area below. And if you have not seen the show at all, I highly recommend that you go watch Season 1 first, so then you won't have any spoilers in Season 2, because there's definitely going to be some spoilers. And so go watch that first and then come back to this review. And so with Season 2, we come in directly after the events of Season 1, where we have the final battle with Magnus, and I think his name was Vidmar, who is the main giant. And so we kind of thought that things are over in some ways, but we find out that neither one of them are destroyed. They're both still alive. And now Magnus, or aka Thor, has to actually assemble a group of other gods to battle the giants. So that sounds really familiar. If it sounds like the Avengers, it kind of is. But the whole season and story, it's not really like that. So let's go ahead and get into the things that I did like about this story. And it's really similar to what I liked about the first one in terms of like the whole setting, this whole idea behind bringing Norse mythology into the modern world. And also some of the stories of these gods and kind of, you know, where they came from and why they're still here. So those aspects I do like. And then another thing that I did enjoy about Season 2 is just the overall look of it, in terms of it's in Norway. So it is a pretty good looking show in terms of like the cinematography stuff and landscaping. And the final thing that I enjoyed is the potential that this world has, because in Season 2 you learn a little bit more about these gods, and you know how they're kind of all related to each other in terms of like the history and stuff, and a little bit more about the giants. And so that's kind of like the main things that I did enjoy about Season 2. For fast website hosting and top-notch service and features, check out Siteground, the preferred service news at GeekOutdoors.com. For more information, check out the affiliate link in the description area below. Now, getting into the things that I did not like about Season 2 is, even though the story and the world, there's definitely potential there, the show really didn't do anything much with it. And if anything, they did, I would say, even less than Season 1, because I was really interested in the whole Norse mythology part. But instead, Season 2 focuses heavily on the whole family and teenager dynamic. And it was more of a family teenage drama than it was a Norse mythology action type series. And it definitely was not anything close to the Avengers, because even though I thought they were going to assemble all these bunch of gods, you know, with Thor, Loki, and so forth, that's really not what it was about. Which leads me to the second thing. Since this season was really focused on this whole family teenage drama, most of the 6 episodes, at least for me, were really boring. You know, I didn't really get interested in anything that was being told. The characters themselves, unfortunately, were very bland, and there was really not many things holding my attention. Which leads me to the last thing about this season is there's really little to no action. And that's probably one of the worst parts, because, you know, this is supposed to be Norse mythology, gods, you know, all this cool stuff. So you have this potential backstory world, and the gods and giants are going to fight, but you really get none of that. And that's really disappointing, because that's kind of what I thought we were going to get with Season 2, because Season 1, I would say, had more of that versus Season 2, even though that was an origin story. And so that's kind of like my overall thoughts on Ragnarok Season 2. Unfortunately, it's not as good as Season 1, and there was a lot of potential with this series, and who knows, maybe Season 3 might correct some of those. But I really feel if they don't go back to the whole Norse mythology and really focus on these characters surrounding that world and definitely bring in some action, I kind of feel that this is a series that I'm probably not looking forward to watching if it's going to remain the way that it is. So those are my thoughts in this season. If you actually had any thoughts on Ragnarok Season 2 or Season 1, be sure to leave that in the commentary below. And if you did want to see more of my sci-fi action film reviews, I do have an entire playlist. I'll leave that in the description area as well. So as always, if you did get value out of these videos, be sure to share, like, and subscribe. And if you're a creative geek like me, and you want to get exclusive access to more content that I don't put out here publicly on my YouTube channel, then join my Gold Content Creators group, where you're going to get content like this and more for all the creative geeks out there. And the best part is, all of this is free. Simply head over to the link below, check out my page, and sign up for my Gold Content Creators group.